Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian. We're back with another Pokemon Unite video. And my god, finally. I kind of expected this to happen, but there is a massive balance patch with the release of tomorrow's mobile version of the game, which I'm honestly really excited for. I'm really hoping that while updating everything, they make the servers better. That's one of the big things, to be honest. Honestly, aside from all these like balance patches, I really hope they can just make the servers a little bit better. That would be really nice. So we'll see how that goes. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the actual balance changes, because I'm really excited to go over these. There's so much to go over. All right. First of all, aside from the actual patch notes for the Pokemon themselves, we'll be getting a new Battle Pass for this new season with the release of mobile. New missions. We'll be getting new Hollowware. If you didn't see, Pokemon Unite posted a short little trailer showing off some of the new Hollowware. Gengar getting a new spacesuit, for example. It actually looks kind of cool, as well as potentially the release of 2 new Pokemon. I don't know if both new Pokemon are coming out at the exact same time, or if they're just going to be coming out sometime this next month. They didn't particularly say, but we're going to be getting Sylveon and Mamoswine, whatever its name is, sometime pretty soon. So, yeah. Anyways, let's jump right into the balance patch. These freaking ads, man. Okay, Absol. All right, just by the way, these patch notes have showed up on Cerebi.net. They're not from the official Pokemon Unite website, but they're pretty reliable because it's Cerebi. But just to understand the way that this is formatted, okay, it's showing the move and ability over here on the left side. It's showing the previous stat values over here, but doesn't show the new stat values because, well, the actual patch isn't out yet, so we don't actually know by how much a lot of these stat changes have changed. Okay, but anyways, Absol. We got Night Slash. Cooldown has been decreased. Night Slash. Decreased range of second attack. Ooh, okay. Sucker Punch. Cooldown decreased. Sucker Punch. Increased duration of hindrance. So basically they buffed Absol. They just made it so you can spam some of his moves a lot better. Fun. So much fun. Absol's already kind of a pain to deal with just because he does so much crazy burst damage. It's ridiculous. So anytime they buff Absol, I'm scared. Dude, there's so many ads. All right, Zeraora Slash. Reduce the amount of attacks done. Okay, so basically, Slash. Increase damage per hit. What was the point of this then? Okay, so they're basically making it so he does less attacks with Slash, but each attack does more damage. Effectively, probably still doing relatively the same amount of damage as before. It's just easier to hit with, is what it sounds like. Spark. Period between moves has been increased. That's good. Spark. Increases amount of consecutive wild charge attacks while using Spark. So basically you can't spam it as often, but it does more damage. Fun. Wild Charge. Cooldown decrease. Fun. Wild Charge. Reduce damage received while using attack. Fun. They basically just buffed Zeraora is what they're saying here. They basically just buffed the damage output and some of the cooldowns too. Awesome. Exactly what we need. Better Zeraoras. Charizard. I feel like Zeraoras are already kind of decent, to be honest, but oh well, whatever. Charizard. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Fire Punch. Makes a target get burnt when hitting multiple opponents. That's actually a pretty decent change. Flamethrower. Increases movement speed after attacking. I actually kind of like this. I actually think this is actually pretty relevant. That's actually going to be pretty decent. Fire Blast. Cooldown decrease. Oh my god, dude. They're just giving Charizard like pretty decent buffs. I don't think these are game-changing. Fire Blast might actually be game-changing, depending on how much the cooldown... Because it's at 11-second cooldown already for Fire Blast. Dude, if they reduce this to, like... Even if it's just, like, an 8-second cooldown, Fire Blast would be a lot better, I think. Just because I feel like Fire Blast It's just such a strong move. But not be able to spam it that often is what kind of hurts it. So if they can make it even like 8 seconds, I think Fire Blast would actually be in a pretty good state. Seismic Slam, his Unite move, now increases damage dealt by basic attacks. Ooh, and restores your HP when damage. Bruh, that's nutty. That's actually really good. And the cooldown increase. So like it takes more. So what it sounds like is that like it takes longer to charge your Unite move is what it sounds like. So now no longer. So in case you guys didn't know, Mr. Mime and Charizard had the fastest charging Unite moves in the entire game, but now it sounds like that Charizard's no longer going to be like that. In which case, Mr. Mime is now going to officially be the only Pokemon in the game with the fastest Unite move charge time. So that's going to be interesting. But I do think this is a crazy change for a variety of reasons. Okay, in case you guys didn't know, if you don't play a lot of Charizard's passive. I forgot the name of the passive, but basically what it does is that whenever he's half HP or less, all of his moves get increased damage output, essentially. So usually the strat with, and this is usually the strat with most starter Pokemon, is that because they all share basically the same like passive ability, where they do more damage if they're at half HP or less. The strat would be basically you wait until you get half HP or less, and then you use your Unite move. On Charizard, same thing. But now the fact that his basic attacks do more damage and restore your HP, that's actually nutty. But my question is, I'm willing to bet that the actual Seismic Slam part, while using the Unite move, because you know when you start hovering first with the Unite move before you actually Seismic Slam. My question is, when you initiate the Unite move, when you're below half HP, do you still get the damage buff if you got restored past half HP? I'm willing to bet no. So this is gonna be interesting how this plays out. But overall, I think this is a massive change. I think this definitely helps Charizard stay alive a lot better. Seismic Slam is already an amazing Unite move, in my opinion. This just makes it like now a more potent threat to deal with. So I kind of like this. It makes Charizard more, I guess you could say, threatening in the end game. You actually have to pay attention to Charizard a little bit more. So, well, this will be interesting to see how this goes. I kind of like this change for Charizard users. Venusaur, Giga Drain, increase the reduction of damage user receives after use. This is a great change because honestly, I feel like Giga Drain's kind of useless, at least in the current iteration before the patch. It just feels like not only does Giga Drain feel like it doesn't heal you enough, it also feels like it just doesn't actually like reduce damage. It just felt like a useless move, basically. So this would be nice. I feel like this is Giga Drain is still going to suffer, though, just because it still doesn't heal you enough. I feel like until they change the actual healing amount of Giga Drain, the Giga Drain's just not going to be very useful, in my opinion. Petal Dance. They made a lot of changes to Petal Dance, which I'm very happy about because I actually love the idea of Petal Dance. It's just that typically Solar Beam just beats it because the damage output in Solar Beam and the range of it is just crazy. Petal Dance just feels like it doesn't do enough damage, essentially. But the AoE and the movement speed of Petal Dance is just insane, in my opinion. But anyways, they increase the total damage done. Absolutely amazing. Okay. I'll have to see whether or not this damage output is significant enough. I don't like it shows the damage output right here currently. So depending on how much they buff it, it might actually be decent to run Petal Dance. And its cooldown got reduced and increases movement speed for longer. Yeah, so basically they're just completely just straight up buffing Petal Dance, which I absolutely love. One of my favorite builds with Venusaur, which I can't run because Petal Dance just doesn't do enough damage, is Petal Dance plus Sludge Bomb, and basically going with this like AoE zoning build with Venusaur, where you're, like you can basically make it where like you can just occupy an area and just make it like impossible for enemies to come into that area. I think it'll be absolutely amazing for team fights too, because you just have such large AoE moves that you can just spam Petal Dance and Sludge Bomb and just damage everybody at once. I think Petal Dance, depending on how much damage they increase it by, Petal Dance will actually be insane for team fights in my potentially. So let's keep an eye on Venusaur. Don't sleep on him. Cinderace, Pyro Ball, the little soccer kick thing that he does at long distance. Increases the total damage done, and the cooldown got reduced. Okay, I think this is fair. No one really uses Pyro Ball, and I think it's a pretty cool move. Just no one uses it. So interesting to see how this will go. Flame Charge, cooldown reduced. Basically, most of you are using Feint. Flame Charge is the other one that's not Feint. If I recall correctly, I think Flame Charge like helps you ignore defenses or something too. I might be wrong on that. I know it does something unique. But this might actually be a decent change where you might actually want to go Flame Charge now instead of the Feint. So we'll have to see about this. Blazing Bicycle Kick, bug fixes. Doesn't want to... Blaze, bug fixes. I love how the actual bugs in this game, they straight up just say bug fixes, but then they label other changes in this patch as bug fixes while telling us what specifically happens. It's like, huh, sure. Like, you'll see, I see what I mean. But it's very obvious that a lot of the things in this patch notes that they call bug fix weren't actual bug fixes. They just don't want to admit, like, oops, we were wrong about this. But anyways, Talonflame. Her attack stat got increased. Good. Personally, I feel like Talonflame is still not very good in this game. Just particularly because the fact that like she previously got her attack damage increased last time she got buffed to where she's actually playable now. But that was it. She was playable now. She wasn't great. Out of all the speedsters in the game, I still believe that she is the worst. Out of all of them. She's just a very glass cannon Pokemon where like she just dies immediately, but doesn't do enough damage to like offset that huge weakness. So hopefully this helps offset that, so she becomes more of like an actual legitimate glass cannon where like it becomes a boom or bust. Like either you can burst them down really quick or you get bursted down really quick. Hopefully this is enough to actually like have that playstyle. We'll see. Fly, cooldown reduced. That's actually kind of insane. Fly is already an insane move in my opinion, so reducing the cooldown is actually kind of crazy. Increased movement speed in air. What? I mean, that makes sense. I always thought it was kind of weird that I moved super slow while using Fly, so I actually think this is a nice quality of life buff. Flame Sweep. Her Unite move, essentially. Unite move gauge becomes more easily chargeable. So basically, you can charge your Unite move faster. I think that's fair, considering how the Unite move plays out. You're kind of like putting people out of position and stuff, or you out of position. So I think this is a fair, and it doesn't exactly do a whole lot of damage either. So I think this is a fair change. Talonflame is just getting an overall buff. I like it. We'll see how Talonflame shapes up after this. Garchomp. Defense stat increased. Special defense stat increased. Rough skin, adjust activation delay. That means nothing to me. Did it get increased or did it get decreased? Why can't you just tell us? This literally means nothing to me. That is such a pointless comment. But increasing the defensive stat, I think is already kind of scary. But I think it's reasonable though, especially in the early to mid game. You just die as Garchomp, as Gible early game. So this might be a needed buff. I'm just scared they're gonna give Garchomp the Wigglytuff treatment. That's my big worry. I swear to God, because look at this. Garchomp's defensive stat is already at 420. That's massive. I think that's the same. Hold on, let me pull up my I made little bar charts forever ago. Where are they? Tier list. Physical defense. Here we go. Here is a bar graph of every Pokemon special defense. Snorlax is not on here. I mean, Blastoise is not on here though. But let's see. Okay, so Garchomp had the same physical defense as Mr. Mime at 420, which is already pretty decent. The Crustle and Snorlax have 580, so that's kind of like the top end, essentially. So depending, I hope they don't give it the Wigglytuff treatment where he essentially just shoots up here to be one of the highest physical defenses. I get the feeling that like they might do that. Where is the special defense? Special defense is at 318. So compared to everybody else, where does that put Garchomp? Garchomp is about right here. Mr. Mime's like a 361, for example. We'll see. We'll see. Again, I feel like they might buff him up too much. I feel like they're just gonna power creep Garchomp to the point where Garchomp's actually insane, actually OP. Considering that most Garchomp players actually kind of suck at Garchomp from what I've seen, this is gonna be interesting. Because then when you actually come across a good Garchomp player, like, it's gonna feel oppressive. That's my main concern, is that they're gonna buff Garchomp too much, where the good Garchomp players are actually gonna be like absolutely OP. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. Greninja, his HP stat got decreased. Oh, that actually hurts Greninja hard. Where's Greninja's HP? Greninja and Cinderace have the lowest HP amounts in the entire game. So the fact that they're nerfing his HP, that's crazy. I guess that kind of makes sense considering the fact that he heals himself, but oh my god. That's actually kind of crazy. Dude, it's going to be you're going to be able to burst down Greninja now. His attack stat got decreased too. So it sounds like they're giving Greninja more or less the Cinderace treatment, but just slightly differently. Anyways, Smokescreen. Fix the bug causing Smokescreen to plus appearing early. I'm not sure I understand that sentence. I guess while using Smokescreen, sometimes you will appear earlier than you're supposed to, if I understand that correctly. So I guess they just made Smokescreen a little bit better in terms of staying invisible longer. Substitute. Adjusted so targets hit Substitute easier. I did feel like Substitute was kind of a pointless ability, to be honest. It was just easy for me to like ignore it. So we'll have to see about this. Water Shuriken. Fix bug to prevent the movement speed adjustment. Interesting. Okay. Water Shuriken, the ultimate Unite move, becomes more easily. So basically, you can spam use Night move more. Okay, he gets to use Night move faster. He's still. Oh, this could be interesting. He still heals himself the same amount. Torrent, his passive ability, reduce attack boost. That's actually good. So basically, reducing his attack stat across the board. He still heals the same amount from all his moves, though. His HP stat got reduced, but he can charge his Unite move faster. I am completely down for these nerfs. Greninja was basically just now the new Cinderace ever since the Cinderace nerfs. So I like this overall. Hopefully we can stop seeing Greninjas as the main jungler now. My main concern... Oh, where is Gardevoir in here? Yeah. My main concern now is that since Greninja is no longer going to be the main jungler, personally, I think there is completely 100% an argument for Gardevoir now being the main jungler. Particularly because of the fact that Gardevoir has some of the highest damage in the game. Look at that. Look at her special attack. 1001. It is actually busted. I think there's a high likely that Gardevoir could become the new jungler, especially since she has decent CC. Like she basically gets like her Psyshock, for instance, at level 6, almost right away. Considering that the jungle gets you to level 5 like immediately, so you only need one more level, and then you got Psyshock. So I think there's a very likely chance that Gardevoir might become the new jungler instead of Greninja, which I am totally down for because I love Gardevoir. Gardevoir is my Pokemon of choice for attackers, to be honest. But anyways, Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff actually got nerfed quite a bit. Special attack stat decreased. Okay, so in case you're not aware, where attack stat kind of compares to everybody else, we got the special attack again. This is everyone's special attack stat compared to each other. Wigglytuff is kind of right here in the middle. Wigglytuff does a fair amount of damage, to be honest. Mostly, especially if you run like a rollout build. Personally, I feel like I like rollout more just because Sing always feels like a suicide button, especially if you're playing solo. So I hate using Sing just because of that factor, and I always like using rollout instead. And I go for more of like a scoring build with Wigglytuff typically, where I go with like Score Shield, and I just kind of like keep zooming in and out of people goalposts and just scoring a ton. And I'll use like Ao's cookie for the extra HP to just make sure which stacks with the Score Shield. Just insane. But the damage output of Wigglytuff can actually be kind of nutty because of the rollout being able to reset your other moves cooldown. Basically, you can go with like you can use your double slap or dazzling gleam first, and then go with a rollout, bounce off a wall, reset the cooldown, and then use the double slap or dazzling gleam again. It can just do nutty damage. So this is going to be interesting to see how this goes in terms of the stat decrease. I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure how much I would like this, to be honest, just because of the fact, I mean, they're not nerfing her defensive stats, so I guess this is okay, but we'll see. We'll have to see how much they do it. So anyways, Pound, which is her attack move that she starts off with as Jigglypuff. Damage got lowered. Dazzling Gleam, damage got lowered. I think this is fair enough, to be honest. Dazzling Gleam does like crazy damage. Sing fixed a bug where Pokemon remained asleep even if hit by an attack. Yeah, no, that's not a bug. That was a feature, and you just don't want to admit it. Overall, though, this is a massive nerf. Massive nerf to Sing. I always thought it was kind of weird that like you're sleeping, but you don't wake up when people hit you. But yeah, being slept by Sing always felt bad because it basically meant a death sentence half the time. So the fact you wake up immediately after getting hit while you're sleeping, that's actually a big difference. It's gonna make it a lot easier for people to get away. You can pop your eject button faster, you can pop your X speed faster, you can pop your movement abilities faster to get away. Overall, this is gonna be a big deal. It might be to the point where people might just choose not to run Sing anymore. You are just gonna completely run Rollout. I wouldn't doubt it if people start picking Wigglytuff less because of this, at least in the higher tiers. But any Wigglytuff mains out there who liked running Rollout will still get good value. That's what this changes sound like, these nerfs. And Cute Charm, her passive ability, activation gap reduced. This is actually going to be kind of scary because honestly, I feel like Wigglytuff's passive was one of the strongest parts of her kit. So the fact that it's going to be used more often now is actually kind of scary. I'm legit kind of terrified by this. So we'll have to see about this. There's not a whole lot of good rollout Wigglytuff players out there, so I'm actually curious to see how this goes. But I kind of like this, but also kind of don't like this at the same time. Mostly, yeah, I don't know. We'll see it. Mostly don't like it. Sing was the only positive change in my opinion. Cramorant, basic attack boosted, damage got increased. Okay, that's. Cramorant's already pretty strong in my opinion because his CC is just crazy. So any damage increase kind of scares me, but if it's just the boost attack, I think that's fine. Surf, damage lowered. Okay, that's fair enough. It's mostly the CC that you surf for anyways. Dive, the move no one uses. Time between moves has been reduced. I feel like no one's going to use Dive just because Dive feels so hard to control. Gatling Gulp Missile, the Unite move, damage lowered. That's actually a hard nerf to Cramorant because Cramorant's Unite move is just insane. Like, legitimately insane. It does so much damage, and it has such a massive AoE. It just can, like, hit everybody. It's crazy. So, lowering the damage output is actually a huge nerf, because now, depending on how much they lower the damage, it might be possible that the more tankier Pokemon can just tank his Unite move, not have to worry about it. Maybe even just beat him up while he's stuck in place in his Unite move. So, we'll have to keep an eye on how much the damage got lowered for Cramorant. But overall, for everything else, seems reasonable. Lucario, power-up punch. Damage to opponents has been lowered. Yes, thank you. Power-up punch was already kind of crazy. Close combat, damage increased. Close combat, increased amount of hits. I think this is fair. No one really uses power punch anyways. They prefer, I think it's Bone Rush instead of close combat. I think so, right? Yeah. I feel like people are still going to just use Bone Rush instead anyways, just because the movement of Bone Rush is just insane. Close Combat Plus, the upgraded version, fixed the bug where damage didn't increase. That's interesting. Yeah, I feel like no one's still going to use Close Combat, but the nerf to Power Punch is actually relevant. So depending on how much they nerf the damage, people might opt for Extreme Speed more, but we'll see. I feel like Power Punch is still a strong move because it does still ignore hindrances while you're using it. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Alolan Ninetales, Blizzard. alters how much damage is dealt after hitting an obstacle. Huh. Okay, interesting. So I'm guessing it's going to be more along the lines of like Mr. Mime's Confusion, where like it has initial damage, but if it hits like a wall, it does additional damage. I think if that's how this is going to work out for Blizzard, this is actually a massive change for Ninetales. Dude, Ninetales is going to become the new Mr. Mime. Oh my god, dude. Dude, if Ninetales becomes the new Mr. Mime, oh, I'll become a Ninetales player. Jesus. That's actually going to be crazy. We'll have to keep an eye on this one. This might actually be kind of nutty. Snow Globe. I think this is the Unite move. Fix the bug where damage wasn't increased against frozen Pokemon. I always felt like something was off about the Unite move because of that. Like I felt like it was never doing additional damage. So this makes sense that it was a bug. Okay. So overall, potentially huge nerfs to Ninetales. I'm keeping an eye on Ninetales. Eldegoss, Cotton Guard. This is the one that gives you the shields. Fix the bug with HP recovery. All right, good to know. I did feel like sometimes the HP recovery didn't really work very well, so... All right, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Leaf Tornado, improved effect of the move. I hate when they use that terminology because it's such a stupid... You might as well not even mention that in the patch notes. Is how I feel like. If you don't tell us what that means. So I don't know if that means the movement speed got faster. If the I don't think the damage output got infinite. I don't know. We'll have to see about this. Gardevoir, boosted attack, basic attack, fix the bug with the damage. Interesting. All right. So but Gardevoir basically got no changes. It was just a bug fix, which is good because I think Gardevoir, especially with the Greninja nerfs, is going to be, like I said before, going to become potentially the new jungler. Don't sleep on Gardevoir being the new jungler, guys. Gardevoir is strong. I played a bunch of Gardevoir as jungler. Almost every time I play Gardevoir and jungler as masters, like we usually end up winning games. It's actually kind of crazy. Snorlax, Yawn. Fix the bug where Pokemon remained asleep even if hit by an attack. So basically they're doing the same thing as with Sing, where they're basically making all sleep effects in the game. Now you wake up immediately after being hit. This is massive, especially for Snorlax. Yawn had the longest stun duration in the entire game. It is busted. I hate Yawn because of that. So the fact you can now finally wake up immediately, massive nerf. I personally feel like Snorlax mains are gonna no longer use Yawn anymore. Are gonna have to start using Block again. And personally, I feel like Block is the better move anyways. If you're going to be picking a defender in the first place. So I really like this nerf because my god, is the CC in this game overwhelming. Massive nerf to Yawn though. I love that. Gengar Lick. This is while you're as Ghastly, the Lick that you want in your starter moves. Fix bug where the opponents were pulled in and a bug pertaining to timing. Interesting. Okay, so I guess it's just making him look more consistent. Which is a plus, I guess. It's just a quality of life bug fix. Mr. Mime, Barrier. When upgrading, so like when you're upgrading from Barrier to Barrier Plus, boost the amount of stored barriers to maximum. So it sounds like basically whenever you actually upgrade Barrier to Barrier Plus, you will automatically max out your currently available amount of barriers. So like, let's say you have like only one barrier available. When you upgrade from Barrier to Barrier Plus, if I understand this correctly, now you'll jump from having one barrier available to having the max of 3 barriers available as soon as you upgrade. That's actually a pretty decent change, to be honest, especially if you're in the middle of a fight when you level up and you get Barrier Plus, because then all of a sudden it's like you go from having like no barriers to boom, you have a billion more barriers that you can spam. This might actually, we'll have to keep an eye on this one because this might actually be a kind of decent quality of life upgrade to Mr. Mime. Personally, I feel like they should have made Confusion's knockback more consistent, just because of the fact that Confusion's knockback, it's just very misleading. Sometimes it doesn't push people where you think they would be pushed a lot of times, and I hate that. That's the main thing. I wish they would fix that, and I would be happy with Mr. Mime. I feel like aside from the knockback inconsistency with confusion, I feel like Mr. Mime's in a pretty good place, to be honest. Guard swap. Fix the bug related to swapping defenses. Again, I wish they would iterate more on this. I'm not really sure what they mean by this. So we'll have to... I feel like guard swap's still going to be a bad move, but I wish I knew what the bug was, is what I guess we say. Crustle, fix the bug with contact range. Okay. Okay. Slowbro, basic attacks. Fix the bug which caused special defense of opponent's Pokemon to be lowered by basic attacks. What the fuck? That's crazy. That's actually crazy. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's nutty. All right, cool. Surf, fix the bug with range. That's a typo. They need to fix that. Machamp, Barrage Blow, fix some bugs. I think that's the Unite move. Blastoise, Rapid Spin, fixed a bug that caused movement speed of opponents to be lowered. What? Isn't that intended? Like if you're going like Rapid Spin, Water Spout, isn't that like the whole point? I'm so confused. So, okay, interesting. Rapid Spin. Notice how like they'll legit call the actual bugs, and they'll just say fix some bugs. Whereas when for specific moves, they'll list out what it is, but call it a bug. Is it really a bug? That's what I'm talking about. Fix Rapid Spin though. Fix the bug that allowed you to use Hydro Pump and Water Spout at the same time as a basic attack. As a basic attack during a spin. That's actually crazy. In case you're not aware, if you don't play Blastoise, when you level up as Blastoise, you have to choose between getting Hydro Pump or Water Spout. As Blastoise, you can't have both. So the fact that there's a bug that lets you use both at the same time as a basic, that's good thing they fixed that. I didn't even know that was a bug, but that's actually crazy, the fact that was a bug. So good to know. And then they changed Regular Gigas, which is, I think, one of the 4v4 map modes. Creates a boost of scoring speed of allied Pokemon after KO. So overall, I think these are actually pretty decent notes. The most notable changes, in my opinion, are going to be Venusaur. I think Venusaur is going to be one of the ones to look out for. The Petal Dance buffs might make Venusaur an actual threat during team fights now, because then you could just have huge AoE damage going in all over the place. Let's see. Greninja, definitely. Basically, his HP and attack stats getting reduced across the board. He's going to become a lot squishier and do less damage. So he'll basically just... I think he's probably going to be more of a laner Pokemon now. You can't really use him as a jungler anymore. The sleep nerfs are actually massive for Wigglytuff and Snorlax. So I don't think it's potentially you're not gonna be able to really want to use the Sing and Yawn anymore. At least for Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff looks like she's gonna be relatively the same anyways, and you're mainly gonna use Wigglytuff if you want to go for a rollout build, which I personally like better anyways, because I hate using Sing as like a kamikaze attack. I think that's a dumb strat in the first place, but yeah. So Wigglytuff is going to be interesting. I'll have to keep an eye on Wigglytuff. Let's see. Cramorant is actually probably a noteworthy one. The damage reducing Ignite move is actually kind of massive. I feel like Cramorant's still going to be good though, just because he still has good CC and he still has good damage across the board. So I feel like Cramorant is still going to be in a pretty much the same spot. It's just the Unite move that is going to be significantly impacted. And Ninetales. I feel like Ninetales is also going to be a sleeper. If Ninetales basically becomes like the new Mr. Mime for attackers, that's actually going to be crazy. That's actually going to be like a huge... so if you're already good at Mr. Mime, you might potentially be good at Ninetales now too. So I'm actually going to pick up Ninetales a little bit, see how it goes after this. Aside from that, I think those are the most notable Pokemon to look out for in this recent balance patch. So by all means, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below about how you think this is going to play out, especially in terms of like maybe the meta and whatnot, or the most popular Pokemon that get picked at higher tiers. But yeah, I would love to hear you guys' thoughts about this. This is a massive patch notes. I feel like I still wish they buffed Mr. Mime just slightly more in terms of confusion. It just made it a little bit more consistent, quality of life change. But overall, in terms of the balance man, I think it's nice. Now, one thing I do want to say though is that I hate the fact that they didn't do anything to actually change some of the game mechanics, especially some of the catch-up mechanics, essentially. Just minor tweaks. I wish they would have done something to kind of change the way, maybe even added a new map. I don't think they're adding a new map from what I can tell, just to make it so it doesn't, I don't know. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and leave it a like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button, all that good stuff. Help boost the YouTube algorithm for me. I would really appreciate it. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. You guys have a good one. Peace.